Hello and welcome. My name is Rachel Wade and I'm the creator and founder of Pura Vida Your Life. And I help people who are feeling stuck, lost, empty and unfulfilled. So maybe you've lost your way and need to rediscover your unique self. And as a coach, I empower people to rediscover their uniqueness and achieve happiness and fulfillment in their greatest life yet in all areas of their life. So why not take your first step on your journey of empowerment today and start improving your life? So this video is around why is it important to learn from the past? And I'm going to talk about that in more detail and also share with you 3 golden nuggets that will help you to improve your life straight away. The first one is release yourself. The second one is find your lesson. And the third one is be at peace. So more about that in a moment, but let's just think about 2020 and the important life lessons. So don't forget the past, learn from it. I know a lot can be said for this year, the year of 2020, and in my last video and blog, I talked about the importance of self-reflection on 2020, along with the tools to be able to practice self-reflection generally in your life. So there's a general truth in our society that goes something like, forget the past, don't worry about the future, and live in the present. So those who ask the right questions about their past are most prepared to live their fullest life in the present. So it's important to consider the lessons that we can learn from 2020 and our past. So it's my belief that your past is your best teacher that you will ever have in your whole life. You've accomplished so many things, and in each experience you've had, this has taught you something. And of course, some experiences may have had positive outcomes and some have had negative outcomes. But quite often our lives are moving that fast that we may miss the lessons and that opportunity to learn. But you see, that's the real magic in our lives. It's a true gift and it's quite often overlooked. Our lives are defined by the choices we make in the past. So however each and every day presents itself, it's an opportunity to become a new person on a new path, destined for our future. And people who choose to simply forget the past miss out on achieving life's fullest potential. There are so many valuable lessons to be learned from it. So if you took the advice in my last video and blog, then you have practiced some self-reflection by now, and you are now ready to learn the lessons so you're not doomed to repeat it in the future. So let's start thinking about 2020. So what has 2020 taught us? Well, 2020 has turned our lives upside down and changed it, not only the way that we live, the way that we work, but also the way that we think and behave. I've seen some real changes in people and people's behaviour through these times, some quite extremes, in fact. And every part of the world has been affected, and every aspect of our life has been impacted. From our everyday routines, they were brought to a stop, and any sense of normal life, whatever that is for you or your belief around that, was absolutely lost. So while we stop and look at the world around us, I cannot help but see what I used to take for granted. If anything, perhaps there are some life lessons to take away from this past year. So in think about that, I've come up with a list that I wanted to share with you. Now, your list may be different to mine, but I just thought this might provoke a little bit of thought from you. So in thinking about the lessons from 2020, I thought about difficult times show us the real face of life and the real face of people. I've also learned that self-care is a priority, not a privilege. It's not something you do as a special occasion. Time is a limited resource, and don't waste it on people or things that don't add value to your life. Be intentional with everything you do. Your future really depends on it. Happiness is created and comes from within. Don't look for happiness outside of yourself. Protect your energy. It's a limited resource and needs topping up. You don't need to be productive all of the time. Taking time for yourself is not lazy and it's not selfish. It's very important. Only you know what's best for you, so trust yourself. Nothing stays still. Change is inevitable. Mindfulness and meditation is a superpower. I know that's been my big go-to. And don't take anything for granted. Be absolutely grateful for what you already have. Don't expect anything and appreciate everything. So those have been my lessons that I've taken from 2020. Maybe some of those resonate with you, or maybe you have your own list, but why don't you spend a bit of time thinking about 2020 and what are the lessons that has taught you? It's very, very valuable for you. So how can you learn from the past? Well, you see, you can use your past experience and past experiences of others to become more effective, become more productive, and even wiser. What a gift that is. There was a lesson to be learned from my past relationships, and that lesson was to trust my intuition. But rather than taking that lesson and letting go of the mistakes that made up my relationships, I held on to those mistakes for years. And after those relationships ended, I then relived the mistakes that we both made, the ways that we hurt each other, and the inevitable or eventual impact on other areas of my life over and over again. So once I learnt the lessons and begun trusting my intuition, I was able then to let go of the mistakes. And the freedom that came from that was incredible. I felt lighter, freer, and more importantly, better prepared for the future, better prepared for future relationships. So by letting go of the past and only keeping the lessons I needed to learn from it, that freed myself up for a better future. I put myself in a position to have future relationships that weren't impacted by past bad relationships. So we all have those events in our past. We all have those things that we need to learn from, but some of us struggle to let go of that event and just keep the lesson. And when that happens, those past threads, they weave through into our future, weaving through old mistakes, old patterns, old behaviours into new ones, and creating yet another situation we'll need to recover from. So learning to find the lessons and let go of the rest is absolutely necessary. And it is easier than you think. So learning lessons from your past and letting go. If you're ready to take on the learnings from your past, use these 3 golden nuggets to help you. They'll help you to get into that space and to build a better future. So my belief is that the past is a treasure chest filled with learning opportunities for our present and our future, but only if we look inside. So let's open up that dirty, unassuming, beat up old chest to find out and use the treasure that's inside it. You have a past, and all of those events, feelings, emotions, and results are sitting in that treasure chest. And I know sometimes it can be hard to do this, especially if we had some painful experiences that we'd rather forget. But you see, your future will be helped if you decide to open it and explore it with vigor and anticipation. The treasure is there, but you must look for it. So golden nugget number 1, release yourself. You need to be able to acknowledge that you don't have to hold on to the past and all of its mistakes. You need to be able to admit that you don't need to keep punishing yourself for things that you did before. You need to be able to accept that letting go of the past doesn't mean you repeat it. And this openness can be one of the hardest steps. So it could be a struggle for you, but don't feel bad for that. It might take some time, but if you stick with it, you will get there. So, like anything, you need to practice this. So, my top tip here is write down the things you need to accept and let go of. And then imagine your friend has handed you that piece of paper with all of those things written on. And then think of what you would say to them. What would you say to your dear friend without judgment and advising them with love and kindness? This helps you to open up to a different perspective on the things that you need to let go of. So, my golden nugget number 2 is find the lesson. So, one of the simplest but most effective ways to find the lessons is to ask yourself more helpful questions. And those are, what were the positive and good things that happened? What opportunities were created? What did I do to make this happen? What didn't turn out well, and what could I have done differently? And what is my biggest lesson from the past that I don't want to repeat into my future? So, my top tip here is take your time. It's not something to rush, as you may have to dig deep for the lessons and for the information to come to you, especially if you've buried it quite deep inside you. And it's okay to take a day or even a few days, because remember, this is going to help you for the next 365 days in front of you into 2021. So take your time. So, golden nugget number 3 is be at peace. No matter what happened, what's happened is happened. And I have a saying, it is what it is. But the past can't be changed. So, ruminating over it, wishing it were different, and imagine different ways something could have happened are all pointless. It's a waste of your energy and time. You really are. They change nothing. So, pull yourself out of the present moment and to keep you from looking forward. That's all that they do, to keep you back in the past. So, instead, it's time to make peace with the past. Whatever happened, happened. It can't be changed, but it doesn't have to be repeated. Accept what happened. Whether it was what you did or what somebody else did, just move on, move forward, let that go. And by making peace with what happened, you will allow the lesson it held come to you. And when that lesson comes out, you'll be able to ensure that you don't repeat the past, which is so, so very important. You'll recognize the signs of trouble before it even happens, and you'll be able to make different choices rather than stepping into that old trap. So, my top tip here is write down all of the things that you're holding on to and all of those stories that you keep telling yourself. And once you are done on that piece of paper, either two things: either tear it all up and throw it in the bin, or burn it. Because what this does, it symbolizes that it's gone. It symbolizes it is no more. You've destroyed it from your life. So give that a go. So let's summarize those 3 golden nuggets again. Number 1, release yourself. Number 2, find the lesson. And number 3, be at peace. So an option you could do is work with a coach. So sometimes we get really stuck on letting go of something that's happened. And when this happens, no matter how hard we try, we struggle on our own. We might not be able to learn the lesson and let go of it. And in these instances, working with a coach can really help you. A coach can ask you the right questions to help you figure out why you are stuck and what will it take to get you unstuck. They can give you the tools to deal with what happened before and to deal with it if it happens again in the future. They can help you change your thinking so that you can process the past and look towards the future. Working with a coach can be helpful, whether it's just for one time or for several times. You can see a coach for just a few sessions or on a regular basis, depending on your needs. It's all around you. Sometimes asking for help can be the most hopeful and powerful step you can take to live a happier, healthier, and fulfilled life. So if you have found this useful, then please share this with anyone you know who would also benefit them in their journey in their life. And thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again for next week's Pura Vida Your Life happenings, for insight, inspiration, and more golden nuggets to help you live a fulfilled and happier life. And I invite you to come on a journey with me. Sign up to Discoveries, my newsletter on my website, to start to take steps to improve your life today. Or why not become a Pura Vida Your Life member to discover an even wider range of inspiring resources and tools. So remember, Pura Vida Your Life, it all starts with you. Until next time, Pura Vida.